Good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you may be, and welcome to the first live of the week. As you know, I'm Audrey Wilson from Whispers Through Light, and I want to talk to you today about the purpose of circles and development groups and how important they are, and sometimes how it's necessary to step back, because at the end of the day you are really in charge of the pathways that you're taking. You have to decide if you are comfortable in an environment or you're not, and you need to be honest about that. And it shouldn't just be about the other people who are sitting in that circle. It's about, should I be here? Is this right for me? Does it feel right for me? And that's your role. That's your choice. Those are the decisions that you need to make. Now, we frequently start off ourselves on our pathway doing a little bit of meditation, having a look at some tarot cards or some oracle cards, or we have a friend that dabbles with them and we get them out and we have a little play and we think, oh, this is all fun. I might like to do this. I might have a go at this because it looks like I might be some good at it. And what you need to remember is that at those points in your life, you're actually working intuitively rather than mediumistically. Now, all mediums are intuitive and all mediums are psychic, but being psychic and intuitive does not necessarily follow that you will become a medium. And the role of the medium really is to communicate with the spirit world and with this world. We provide evidence of life eternal, but not just that. We have a role to play in the development of our own soul. And if we can't develop that, then our mediumship will suffer. Our gifts, as some people like to call them, will suffer. Because it is only in knowing ourselves, knowing who we are and how we work, that we can better make those connections with spirit. And for a lot of us, although we might start out on our own, eventually we come to that place of wanting to be with others, seeking out like-minded people, or we might feel that we're not getting any further forward and we start to look at places we can go, or teachers we can find, or courses we can go on, all manner of things. And in running courses over the years, I've found a lot of people that I've come across in different places have said, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, I've really enjoyed it, and it's opened my eyes to a lot of things, it's made me aware of things I hadn't tried before. Do you know whether there's any circles or groups that I can join? Because nobody really seems to put them out there. And I think there's a few reasons for that. One of the reasons is because people just start a circle or a group amongst themselves, and they're happy just 4 of them or 5 of them or whatever it may be in their own little environment, and that's fine. They're blending together and they're working as they should. But others, teaching mediums, will run closed development circles. And the difference between an open circle and a closed circle is, in an open circle, anybody can come, regardless of what level you're at, regardless of what your understanding is, where you sit within the ism, as it were. Doesn't really matter if it's an open circle, because the term tells you it's open. They can come through the door, they don't have to come every week, they come when they want, so there's no real structure within the development. Traditionally for us here in the UK, the open circles were used as a place for us to take our fledgling mediums, and I use that term because that was a term used for so long. And really all that means is that it's people who are ready to start demonstrating in public. Now, when I say that, I'm not talking about doing one-to-one readings. I'm talking about getting out there into the spiritist churches, the spiritualist centres, whether you do demonstrations from the platform or galleries, whatever you want to call them. And a big part of that is learning how to work with the general public while you're working with spirit. It's not the same as having a one-to-one. It's completely different. Because if you think that if there was only 10 people in a room and each of those 10 people had 4 communicators all trying to get through, you have got 40 energies in spirit all trying to get into position to get their messages across. Apart from that, you've got to work with the congregation, the group, whatever. You've got to keep them engaged because otherwise they're just going to shut off. You've got to talk to them. You've got to talk to them directly when you're working with them. You've got to wait for them to answer you. You've got to deal with all the people shuffling about in the room. I once had somebody get a packet of crisps out and start eating it. Needless to say, I peered over the top of my glasses and went silent for a few moments and then said, well, when this young lady's finished her afternoon tea, we'll proceed. With that, people giggled and she got up and left. So that was the way I dealt with that one that day. But these things happen. So we use, apologise for that, I forgot to switch it off. We use open circles to prepare people for the work that they're going to do in the future. But they're already so far along their path when they're doing that. And yes, you'll do different exercises and you'll have a go with different things, use different tools, and that extends you a little bit. But the most important thing about that open circle is that it teaches you how to work with the public. But a closed circle is an entirely different matter, and that's the one I really would like to concentrate on at the moment. It's something that I consider very, very important in our development. It works in so many ways because you will have a circle leader who these days will be a medium. In the old days, you had a leader and a medium, which is an entirely different way of doing it. But now, what you usually find is that your circle leader will also be your medium. So it's their job to make sure that you are working in a good way, to help you extend your energy and get that little bit further, to reach out and get, push yourself. But they're also there to teach you about how we work, or how you work. Find the way that you work. There will be an order within that circle, or there should be. And for me personally, when I'm running a circle, I prepare the room before everybody gets there. And when I say I prepare the room, I make sure it's clean and tidy. I make sure any clutter is put away, unless it's the things that we're going to be using that night. I also will come in during the day and I will sit quietly and I will talk to my guides and I will ask that we begin to build the energy within the circle. Now, if you are lucky enough to have a separate room that you work in, then the energy within that circle will build and build and build, because it's not being disturbed by any other form of use. If you have to use a part of your home that you would normally also use for other things, then you're going to have to work that little bit harder about building that energy. But you know what? Spirit are so cooperative they never cease to amaze me, and they always, always bring us what we need. They always bring us that light and that energy, and most importantly, that love. And those are the things that we really need to bring our circle together. Now, I always begin my circle with a prayer. And I use the term prayer loosely because I don't say religious-based prayer. Prayer to me is a group of words formed into sentences which really talk to spirit, the great creator, whatever you want to call it, about something that's on my mind at the moment. And I always ask for healing for each member of the group and for the home and the families that they represent. I ask that healing go out throughout the world wherever it may be needed, because who am I to choose who is a recipient of healing and who isn't? I always ask for healing for our Mother Earth, because without Mother Earth we wouldn't have any life. And sometimes we have specific people that need that extra help, so I will mention those in that prayer. And then I ask that the circle be opened, that the doorkeeper step forward, la-di-da. And that's the way we go. Hi Maria, lovely to see you. Or should I say see you writing. And then we go into a meditation. And then after that we will do whatever exercises I've got planned. And the plans, to me, have to be a little bit fluid and flexible, because sometimes the energy takes you in a different direction to the one that you thought it might. And as a circle leader, you have the responsibility of going with that flow of energy, of allowing spirit with you to conduct that circle. Because I'm not in charge of it. I work alongside spirit, and we work together within that circle. Now, I don't like anybody chattering in circle at the beginning of it. You see, you're there for a reason, and you're there to blend and build that power and energy. You're there to make those connections with your guides, with your helpers, and with those who are going to come through and be a part of your circle from the spirit world, because they will, and they do. That's their purpose. That's what we're doing. We're learning. And there are always spirit willing to help us learn. Always. Always. So, you know, you treat it with respect. It's not a social evening. If you want a social evening, you know, arrange to meet up somewhere for coffee or whatever your poison may be. But your circle is not a social event. Circle is, I know it sounds difficult, but circle is, it's sacred, like a lot of the things that we do within our development. It's sacred, and it's special, and it's healing, and it's empowering, and it is joyous. And it is not the place for chit-chat and moaning and groaning about what's gone on in your world. Now, I'm not taking away from the lives that people we have. I know life is hard for all of us, and at times it feels like it's never going to end. But what you have to remember is that time that you spend, that hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours, whatever it may be, in your circle once a week is so precious. Let's not waste it on the day-to-day lives that we all have. Let's use it as it should be used. So, no chit-chat in circle. If you want to chit-chat, do it outside before you go in. But when you go in there, that's what matters. What matters is what's going on in there. And if you truly feel that you can't break away from your own state of being and your own mind and your own issues on that evening, then talk to your circle leader and say, look, I'm really not in a good place. I need your advice, should I come or not? I enjoy the peace and quiet, but I'm not in a good place. And it should be something that's discussed between you and your circle leader, not with the rest of the group. One of the difficulties sometimes that you find in closed circles is because you're meeting every week, not just floating in and out when you feel like it. you are sitting regularly with the same people. And with the best will in the world, it's not always possible to get on with everybody we meet. Some people rub us up the wrong way. Some people we find annoying. Some people need all of the attention, or should I say they want all of the attention. I wouldn't say they actually need it, but they want it. And it can be irritating at times. So if a circle isn't right for you, then you make the decision on your own that that's not the place for me. Don't keep going because you haven't got anywhere else to go. Because in doing that, you're not helping yourself and you're not helping the people who actually enjoy being with each other and in working at what they're doing. So if you really feel like you don't belong, for whatever reason, and it may just be a clash of personalities, because we all have them, but if you don't feel that you can get away from those issues, then you shouldn't be there. You know, we shouldn't be saying, I'm not coming if they're coming, because do you know what? That's mean girls in the playground stuff, and it's got no place in a development circle. What has got place in the development circle is learning, understanding, experiencing and growing, and those are the reasons we're there. We're not there to get good enough to start charging money. We're not there because we want to run a business, but we don't know how yet because we've not learned how to do it. Because your development lasts the whole of your life. Your development doesn't end after 3 months. It's ongoing. Now, it may be that you outgrow one circle because that medium can only take you as far as they are. And it may be that you need to move into a circle where there's an advanced form of learning going on. And that's great, because what that shows is that you've grown and you've been doing your work. So that is absolutely brilliant. And your circle leader at that point should be really, really happy that they've done their job. They should, if they can, help you find the right place to be, if it's possible. It's not always possible, because just like any other work that we do, some people link with others, some people don't know others. It's just the way it works. There is not a medium on this earth who has got all the answers. We're still learning too. But you find the one that fits you. You find the one that has honesty and integrity, is compassionate and humble. It's not a case of, I know and you need to listen to me. It's a case of, okay, let's go and find out how this works for you. I'll walk with you while you have your experiences. And I will help you from my place of experience. And that's what close circles are about. That's why they're so important. Because they're a place for you to work safely. They're a place for you to go on a regular basis. They are a place for you to link with like-minded souls. But most importantly, they're a place where you can be with spirit. Where the outside world has no bearing in that short time that you're together. You can blend with your guides. You can learn with your guides. You can do exercises to expand your awareness. You know, you can do so much within a closed circle that you can't do in an open circle, for reasons I've already discussed. I have personally always been wary of open circles, but that's because of experiences I had when I first was finding somewhere that I could learn, and the open circle for me was not a good place to be. Hi Rebecca, lovely to see you. Bit of a stranger, but we pop up now and again. So you see, learning where to be is often as important as how to be. And why is it that we do that? And the reason for that is because we don't have all the answers. Nobody has. We don't have the direct dial line to the mother of all teachers or the father of all teachers. We don't have that. So we go to those who have gained knowledge, gained experience, and they'll share with us. That's what we do. And we do that because we want to grow, because we want to be closely or more closely connected with spirit so that we can help those in the physical world in so many ways. You know, our mediumship is not just about, I've got your mother here and she says. Our mediumship is about so much more. Sometimes our mediumship is about, excuse me while I just get comfortable. Sometimes our mediumship is about knowing when to speak and knowing when somebody just needs you to sit quietly with them. It's about knowing just to send a quick text or a WhatsApp or an email, or whether to actually pick up the phone and ring. It's in doing small acts of kindness for no other reason other than we have the feeling that we should. And sometimes it can be a case of that's been driven by spirit. Getting somebody else to do something for you which will remind you of that person. And that happened to me with my dad, and I will recount this story to you because it is really, really important. My father passed away very suddenly, a long, long time ago, more than probably around 30 years now, if I'm honest. And it was a shock. He was taken ill, and within 10 days he'd passed away. Never really regained consciousness, which is just the way it happened. And I hadn't seen him for quite some time. And when I say quite some time, I mean quite a number of years. But my dad always loved a sweet called Fox's Glacier Mints, which was a clear sweet candy, whatever you want to call it. And he was the only person I knew who loved them, and if you wanted to buy him a present at Christmas as kids, that's what we did. We bought him Fox's Glacier Mints because we knew he would be happy with those, and that was about it, really. And I was somewhere, and there was a medium there who said, I've got your father here, and he says within a few weeks you will know that he is there because of something that somebody gives you. And a few weeks later, having forgotten that conversation, etc., as you do, a few weeks later my son went off to the shops with his pocket money to go and buy his sweeties. And he came in and he said, I brought you a present, Mum. And he bought me a packet of Fox's Glacier Mints. Now, I've never had them in my house. He had never seen me eat any. And I doubt he'd seen any at his granddad's, because he hadn't seen him since he was quite young. And he was still young then, but in that moment I remembered that conversation when I was in the company of that medium. And there was my message from my dad to say, it's okay, I'm fine, doesn't matter. Because I felt quite guilty about not being in touch with him. And it was his way of saying it's all right, don't worry about it. Now, had I not been with that group of mediums that day, and that guy gave me that information, I would have just thought, that's a strange thing for my son to buy, but I would have brushed it off. But because in that moment, when those mediums were together, my dad saw his opportunity to come in and say what he needed to say, to allow me to know that he would reach out to me in whatever way he could. And he did. He kept his promise. He did it. Had I not been within that group of mediums that day, I wouldn't have got that message. So you see, our work isn't just about advising people what to do. It is in those small moments of seemingly insignificant words that our greatest messages are often given and the greatest impact. So in my opinion, and it is my opinion, you can make your own, but in my opinion, circles, particularly closed development circles, that are run well, are an absolute godsend to your development. And I do hope that you can find one. I know that there are some, for those of you around Albuquerque, I know that there is, I believe, an open circle running. I'm not sure whether there's actually a closed one running at the moment or whether they're on a breather. I'm sure Michelle will pop a comment in there and let you know. But there's so much going on around, not just around Albuquerque, but in other places. They're out there, and when you're meant to find them, I truly believe that you come across them. Whether it's in a conversation with somebody who says, oh, I know one of them and she's really good, or he's really good, or whatever. They're there, and when you need to find them, they usually pop up. However, it's up to you to make that choice. It's up to you to make that decision as to whether you want to do that or whether you want to still struggle on your own. And I say struggle on your own because we do struggle on our own. We struggle in circles as well, but we really struggle when we're on our own. And one of the most important parts of that development circle will be your meditation. And that is that place where we become centered, where we become peaceful, where we can just step out of our everyday world. And I want to finish today having just talked a little bit about circles, of which, as I say, I am a great advocate, but I'm a great advocate of teaching anyway. I would have to be, I'm a tutor, and I work with a lot one-to-one now, but I love group work and I love running circles and watching everybody grow and seeing the excitement in their eyes when they've had a breakthrough. I just love that. It's a bit like the child running to you with the tooth in the mouth because they know the tooth fairy's coming tonight. It's a bit like that for me. But I want to leave you today with just a short meditation, maybe just to help you along through the week, maybe just help lift your spirits and balance your energy. So when you are ready and you're listening to this and you're in a place where you can be comfortable, where your phones aren't switched on and going to disturb you, because there's nothing worse than that, just get yourself comfortable. I always light a candle. That's my thing to do. You don't have to. You do what makes you feel good. But as long as you've not got any interruption, as much as you can control that. And I'll ask you just to quietly close your eyes. And for a few moments, just be aware of the gentle rhythm of your breath. Let your body find its own comfortable space of breathing. And with each loving breath in, let us think of peace. And as we breathe out, let us think harmony. Peace and harmony. With each loving breath, feel yourself beginning to relax. As you concentrate your thoughts on that rhythm of breath, just be aware that this time and this space is what requires your attention at this moment. This is your time for self-care and self-love. And as you close your eyes, just feel a waterfall of light tumbling down around you. Feel that light cooling and soothing. And as you breathe in, let us breathe that light within. Feel it going through your body, reaching down to all your vital organs, your nervous system, the blood vessels, the whole of your physical body being bathed in light. Feel your mind being illuminated with that light. Feel a weight being lifted from your thoughts. Pay attention to your emotions. How do you feel in this moment? Are you ready to give love to yourself as you do to others? Each day begins anew, and each day is the day in which we have to work. And each day should begin by loving yourself and forgiving yourself. You are a human being with a spirit that has come here to have so many experiences. None of us are perfect. We are all perfect in our imperfection. And as you hold yourself within this loving light, accept the healing that is all around you. Accept the light of spirit and a reminder that your spirit workers, your spirit team are with you always. as you begin to bring your awareness back to this time and place. Within your mind, repeat these words: I am perfect in my imperfections. I am being the best that I am able to be. I am love. And very slowly and very gently, bring your awareness back to this time and place. Now you can use that meditation, visualization, whatever you want to call it, you can use that exercise every day for you. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening, you can do it in the afternoon, whenever you want to do it, because it's a very personal journey. It's not a development exercise per se, but it is in the respect that it gets you into that energy, it gets you into that routine, and it lets you grow as a person. Because if you aren't growing, your ability isn't expanding. So I hope that you've enjoyed that. I just need to read this. I noticed Michelle had popped us some things in here. Most circles I've heard of in Albuquerque are more interested in getting messages from angels, archangels, and yeah, I get that. And you're quite right. Sometimes they'll only do what they've been taught. And if they've been taught that that's the correct thing to do, then that's what they're going to do. And that's where the whole thing of channeling becomes all messed up. Because channeling really means that you are a channel, you are a voice, you are a means of communication. It does not mean you're tuned into something 27 dimensions away or anything else. It literally means you are a channel. Nothing more and nothing less. But do you know what? It is in developing your mediumship and an understanding of who you are that you can clear up where those messages are coming from, who's bringing them to you. Because let's not take away from the message. Let's be truthful and honest about where that message is coming from. You know, some people feel the need to go down that route, and that is their choice. We don't have to accept it, we don't have to buy into it, but if you want to, it's your choice. And that is the upside and the downside of a developing medium. Because there is so much out there, and there are so many people saying my way is the right way. Well, do you know what? I think the right way is to be honest, stand in your integrity, and be truthful about what it is you're feeling and understanding. And once you've learned what all these things feel like, and what all these communicators feel like, and the guides feel like, and the quality of the energy, the sensitivity of the energy, and the vibration of these different energies, because all spirit vibrates like us on different energies. So once you've learned that through your development groups, then you're in a much better position to make the right choices. And having worked with the team that work at Audrey, Michelle and Donna, and I'm not sure who else is running circles there at the moment, but I know Michelle and Donna do work within circles. I personally can say they're going about things the right way. They're making the right moves. You know, you speak as you find. And I would say that about anybody that I felt was doing a good job. Because the more of us out there doing a good job, the better for everybody, as far as I'm concerned. So, I wish you all a good week. I hope that within your week you find some joy and also some time, some me time, time to just sit and simply be, to recharge, rebalance, reground, whatever you need to do in that moment. So I'll bid you all farewell for this week, and I will see you all next Monday. So have a fantastic week as best you are all able. Bye for now.